Hi, this is Peter Kim.
And this is Unji Kim.
And we are Two Kims One Pod. Thank you so much for coming back to the pod.
Welcome back.
I welcome back. You guys, this week has been absolutely a shit show for me. And I'm just going to get right into why. Those of you who have been listening to the pod, who've been watching the YouTubes for a while now, know that I've been in LA and developing some shows. One show particularly being Kim Spa, that was being developed since 2020. So it's been 5 years. It was a project that was with ABC first and then NBC, and it was supposed to star Bobby Lee and I. And it's about two brothers who are coming together, albeit their differences, to save their family spa.
Like classic sort of sitcom dynamic.
Yeah.
Right.
Odd couple dynamic.
Yes.
And for 5 years, we developed this into many iterations. And this week, I found out that NBC passed. And it was always a long shot. We were always the underdogs. We were up against the likes of Tina Fey and Tracy Morgan. You know, like people who have overall deals at Universal.
Right.
Like Bobby and I, we were lucky to be there.
Yes.
And you know, they're lucky to have us, but
in the room,
at the same time, it's a business, and they, you know, whatever. So I don't want to sit here and be like, why didn't they take it? Why didn't they do it? It doesn't really matter. They didn't. And it comes down to money at the end of the day. And the day I found out, my executive called me, my CBS studio executive called me. NBC has not talked to me at all. And they never do. They just go past and then they just turn around. They never speak a word. So,
I mean, the original ghosters. And I also totally understand, you know.
And they'd have to call like 900 people. You know what I mean? So, like, it's not worth it. And the studio, Kate Adler, shout out Kate. She's the head of comedy development at CBS Studios. She has called me with this message many times now. And the fact that I got to hear her say, I'm sorry, you know, like many times. And she's always sincere about it. And I got to say, like, I've developed with people. I didn't realize I would come to Hollywood and just fail and make a living. You know what I mean? Like, I made a living writing failed pilots.
Yes.
And I had always, like, kind of heard about that, but, like, I didn't really understand what that meant. And it wasn't until I came here that I realized, oh, I have a very unique skill of creating a world, stories, characters, ensembles, and pitching them, selling them in a room, and then writing the pilot, and then absolutely being rejected. And
it's all of it is a skill. Every step of the way.
Skill set. It really is, because the rejection part is the skill set.
Yes.
It's the getting knocked down and being like, okay.
Next.
What else? You want more? I got more. You know, what happened to? Oh, she died. Oops.
She died? Oh my God, you're right.
Remember? Oh my God. Oops. Sorry, guys, for fans of her name. She was the blind item girl.
Yes.
Anyway, why did I bring that up? Because I said that thing. Anyway, so I am realizing how, you know, I keep going back to like feeling grateful and feeling lucky while also feeling completely disappointed.
Right.
It's a truly bittersweet feeling. Like, it starts kind of at the heart where it's like, man, like, cool that I was part of it, and then it starts squeezing into the stomach.
It just when it starts to feel bad.
And then you start realizing, like, why doesn't anyone want me? And it is what we signed up for.
Absolutely.
We, as in, like, artists, more specifically comedians,
right,
and actors, we are begging for a life of rejection.
we're in the business of disappointment.
Yes. And getting slapped down.
Yeah. Because it's not just, it's the rejection is one thing. For me, the disappointment is another. Because my husband used to say that I was addicted to disappointment.
Yeah.
Because I love to get excited about things. And that's the flip side of it. Right? When you
got to have both.
You got to have both.
You can't have one without the other.
Exactly. So if you're a dreamer and you are someone who loves to make and create things, and with the idea that
that's the excitement. That's the joy that brings you for the creation of it.
Exactly. And the idea that it will come to fruition, that others will say yes to the project, either as collaborators, as people who will purchase it, and all iterations inside of the industry, right? We're looking for that. And that's part of the excitement. The disappointment being the flip side, where someone says no finally, right? It's not just the rejection. It's not just the no. It's all of it that goes into putting it before someone to reject. It's the opposite of it. That is absolutely what you are signing up for. The resilience of it is the skill. And it is hard for... I think everyone has everyone has like a certain number inside of them that they can withstand. And
here's what, I could withstand it, I think, forever.
Me too.
If I can live.
Yeah.
Right? So there was a moment in Hollywood where I could live on rejection and still feed myself and pay the rent.
It's literally our parents.
Yeah, but like the money part.
Right.
That is the part that's become such a new change now, is that I can't even, how about this? I can't even fail anymore. Because why? They won't even give me the chance to get up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, for a comic, that means, imagine no stage time.
Right.
So there's no opportunity to fail. So for a writer, TV writer specifically, there's no opportunity for me to fail anymore because they're not even hearing me.
Right now.
Sure. But that's like saying, it's similar to like when we were in quarantine, when we're like, oh, we don't have a place to like do comedy right now. It did get better.
Absolutely.
But it's that feeling of like, what the fuck do I do now? Like, who am I? What do I do? How do I survive? And that's where I am in right now. It's like, I have to get a job that's different now. Like for 8 years or so, for the last 5 years, I've worked as a writer.
Right.
And now I have to redefine myself once again at 43. So it's like, that's the biggest disappointment for me, the biggest hurt is, man, I thought I found the groove here and I thought I could relax for a second. And like, that's the biggest disappointment, is like, here I go starting over again.
You think that you're not going to get another chance?
Well, I might, but not one that pays. I have to like literally pay the bills.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like that might mean, okay, go get a different type of job to just like keep you afloat.
Right.
Which I'm okay with.
Yeah.
But I don't see a way out right now through. I'm talking to my reps. They don't see a way out. I'm talking to everyone I know. Literally, I was at the CBS Showcase on Thursday. This year's showcase.
Right.
Featuring some of the best stand-up I've seen in a long time.
Yes. They had really good stand-ups doing it this year.
Incredible. They were all already famous and touring. So I'm like,
I don't understand why they're... Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of like what JFL and like Netflix and they do. Like they take people who are already like popping.
Yeah.
Like it's that. So like, anyway, that same thing is happening in the TV space and in the screenwriting space, in the acting space, whatever. No one's taking chances on the nobody anymore. Everyone's taking chances on somebody's.
Sure.
So as a nobody, I'm getting pushed out of that class, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So that means I have to like figure out either a way in or a new way to like do my work
Right.
profitably.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a word? Profitably?
Yes.
Like I can't write comedy and make money right now.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I know that's such a like, yeah, bitch. Like no one can. Like I get it. But when you have gotten used to that as your thing, now it's another like crazy pivot for me. So that's like a very new thing I'm dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's pretty hard when it'd be different if my reps or people were like, hey, this is like a 6-month hold because of a readjusting. Like, go take a temporary job for 6 months and come back and you'll be able to like pitch these shows again and like whatever, or be in a room again even. But that's not even like, no one's even saying that. People are like, I don't know, man. Like I went to the CBS showcase and literally everyone I talked to was like, I don't know. Everyone's like, hey, how you doing? You know, you know. And literally everyone, from agents, managers, producers, execs, comics, to the wait staff, everyone. No one is like, yay. Like everyone's just like, so yeah, it feels like a macro level pivot that like I have to figure out with the rest of my industry. Mm-hmm. Like it doesn't feel like, hey, wait a couple of months and then we'll be back to normal. Like there's no normal, it feels, you know? So like, yeah, it is a new anxiety.
Along with the old ones.
Yeah, the old ones have not left.
I mean, I do think that like because of your proximity to the industry and like so many more actors,
mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? Like it's just you get a lot more of what usually happens, which is mostly nobody having access.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is also, it's happened during pandemic, but you were ready for that. You know, it was the same sort of, people were freaking out. There was nothing being filmed. No one understood what was going to happen. Same thing during the strike. I think that this is just a time of great tumult across the board.
It's been that.
Yeah.
Like what you just said.
Yeah.
Like pandemic,
strikes,
whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
and at every turn, the industry has been like, this is done. And, you know, when we're talking about the getting up of it all, I think that the more times you have to do it, when I'm alluding to everyone having a certain number inside of them, it's that too, right? It's the despair.
Well, that number gets smaller once
you start expending it. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I do think that when people talk about so many people in the creative arts being fucked up, it's because those are the people who have a very high number of rejections and falls that they can take and withstand and get back up. Because it is actually not a healthy impulse to have something constantly reject you and for you to be like, okay, more. You know, people say that's resilience, but at a certain point, that is a psychopathy, right?
It's a mental illness.
Yeah, it's literally the definition.
We're all mentally ill.
Yeah, it's literally the definition of insanity is to do something over and over again in spite of it not being good. Like, granted, you're able to make money from it.
If you get that 1 out of 100, it's like the like the
addict's
gambling
thought.
thing. Yeah. It's like the little wins keep you going. And listen, if I could just create without having to pay my bills, I would be so happy. If I could just get on stage or be in movies and never be like, I don't need payment. I just want to like be on set and hang out. Bitch, I would do it every day. You know what I mean? But like, I don't have that privilege.
Sure.
And I think that's where the industry's going, is like only people with that privilege will be able to play.
It does seem to be going that way. And you're seeing it with the stars. You're seeing it with a lot of the actors that are able to make it after X amount of years in the grind. And I think that there are, you know, this is happening culturally. Like this class divide, you know, where the most privileged get all this access and those who have not. And then there's just like sort of wild middle where people are trying to figure things out. People with a little more access, a little more privilege, people with a little more talent, a little more access. Like it's kind of all trying to, everyone is scrambling to figure it out, whether it's inside of the tech space, whether inside of film and television. It is strange because we are watching literally, like again,
the erasure of the middle.
Yes, and also people.
We've been literally saying it for decades,
but in like a way,
I've been hearing it since Reagan.
Right, but I mean, like with I think post pandemic, post the strikes, and post sort of like all union, like there's a lot of strikes happening across all industries, where the idea. There is something happening happening in people without, right? I am someone who is very, looks to history and everything. And especially now with the Zelensky stuff, everyone's talking about Trump and this era of, everyone's keep talking about World War II. And for me, this feels very World War One. Like sort of the Industrial Revolution sort of thing. And except this time it's AI. Right, there was a digital revolution in the 90s. Each revolution occurs much more quickly than the one before it because it's happening at a pace. I do think that there is something, because I see both ends. Like, right, nepo babies, the rise, the rich are getting richer, all that stuff, but also poor people are becoming more and more disfranchised and disillusioned and angrier, and like we're seeing. Like a retaliatory movement, which unfortunately, I don't know. I feel like, you know, someone who hangs out with a lot of young people, there does seem to be much less hope. Like they're not.
Why would they have any?
Right, because they're just like it's not even. Because you remember when we were young and like all the Bush stuff happened, we did feel hope. Like we were very angry but it wasn't and hopeless, all that stuff. But our anger kind of spurred action, right? It was this idea that like it's something inside of us, this anger spurred action. And for them, it spurs despair. And like, you know, also rightfully so, right? They've lived in a world where every single adult institution has always failed them or coddle them to a degree that even they recognize is unhealthy. You know, they like know about the iPad kid, like sort of, because they're the iPad kids, and they know that it fucked them up. Like it's so strange, but they also are tied and so tethered to their phones and the digital. Like it's so strange, but I do see them. I don't know. Like I think that when you're saying this stuff about the industry and you know, having to find something else to do. I do think that maybe it's all that you know, you will have to get a regular job, maybe. But I don't see you being unable to get back up.
I'm back up already, emotionally.
Sure.
Like I felt sad today. And I'm going to feel sad for a while, but I'm back up. I just don't, there's nowhere to get up.
Sure. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm in the streets, but the comedy clubs are closed.
You'll figure it. I mean,
So what I will end up doing, or all of us will end up doing, is figuring out how to break distribution. And like, for example, let's go back to the stand-up thing. Like if there are no comedy clubs for me to play at, then I'm going to build my comedy club. Right. I'm going to build my stage. I'm going to be on the corner painted like a silver man and do my or whatever the fuck. Right. Like, so that's where I am in LA now? Like, how do I figure out how to not need a comedy club?
Right, and create your own circumstances to get knocked down by. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's, I don't know, that's always sort of been just because I've the no's have always been pretty consistent. Like it's not, I would say I've had very few W's. So,
okay.
So I think
George was the last W you had.
I just don't, it's always been a matter of how do I cobble together these $200?
But how do you like?
I'm emailing. I'm cold emailing.
No.
Yeah.
No, that's not my question.
I mean, I have no pride.
How do you like analyze that your ratio? Like, are you comparing to a friend, a compatriot? Are you looking at it as like a percentage of like how much you're going out versus? And I'm assuming you mean W's as in like industry W's, not like comedy or life W's.
I'm talking about all.
Okay, yeah, sure.
I mean, like truly, like I'm talking about across the board. Yeah. Like worldwide, whatever Earth Mother Gaia is giving and sending to me.
Yeah,
she's mad.
That's what I'm saying. Like we all, and there are going to be people who watch and listen to this going like, "Bitch, you guys are killing."
Right.
Like, so it is
relative,
for sure, because your lack of W's is someone else's like, whoa, you have that many W's?
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, that's how I felt when I went to the CBS showcase, when I was like, oh, God, you guys, I'm in a bad mood. My thing got passed on, blah, blah,
like,
whatever,
oh my God.
whatever. They're like, you had a pilot at NBC? What the fuck?
There
and I was
all these
like,
people attached to it? Yes. And it's like,
yeah.
I mean,
so like, you forget that, like, at least I do. Like, I have to gauge that always to be like, oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, yeah, that's right.
I mean, I think that ability to do both, right? To be and acknowledge where you are and assess and and have gratitude when you pull back. I've been actually trying to talk about this on stage. Like it's happening, but how like, nothing demonstrates sort of the divide in our country more than the clothing reviews on Nordstrom.com. Like if you have
what? People are reviewing on Nordstrom.com?
100%. So if you go to Nordstrom.com and you're looking for a sweater, you scroll down to the reviews. They'll have like a little star.
Oh my
and
God.
If you go down to it, there will be a picture of a woman like headless in a mirror, the photo of her wearing the sweater, and it's 1 star. Horrible fit, not worth the money. And the photo is of like a traditionally attractive woman with a bang and bod who looks great in the sweater. Okay. The next picture will be 5 stars with a woman that looks like she found this sweater on the floor. Never felt better. So many compliments, 5 stars. This is worth it. Right? And it's like, these are 2 people living in the same world.
Not really.
Right.
Right, kind of, but not really.
Right. Like the same material world, but realities are different.
Way different.
And so like, as when it's very helpful to see that and know where you are. Like it's something that I've been really trying to work out, at least about how relative everything is. So yes,
it really is.
Like it is having this gratitude, but also maintaining a certain hunger for what you want, like what you want. And it's, being real.
The hunger. Yeah. I think the rejection always hurts, but when it comes to like rejecting my, like, there's something about, it's like if someone booed you after you like, if you're like a singer-songwriter and you're up there with your fucking guitar and you sang like a wispy folk song and people are like, boo! Ew! Horrible lyrics!
Yuck! Stinker!
Yeah.
I am unmoved! Lame!
Yeah, and like that just kind of like doesn't happen. I guess like for a recording artist, it's maybe like your album didn't sell as or didn't chart,
Sure.
or like the reviews are bad or whatever. Like there's a response to it, right? But like I don't know, let's say Gaga, because I'm listening to Mayhem right now, and she really loves Mayhem, right? And I love it too, and she's really proud of it and blah blah. And like I wonder if she deals with that type of rejection, you know what I mean? Like, or if she's like, I'm just connecting to whoever wants to connect to it.
Right.
Like if you like it, then I love it. You know, that type of thing. Like, I wish I could get there as an artist, as opposed to like constantly having to reset myself and be like, oh, I feel rejected, but I'm lucky to be here because some people like it. You know, that kind of thing. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's like you can't avoid the disappointment. It's just like a sick cycle that you
have to withstand it. I mean, you see what happens to artists that have no rejection. Like their music becomes untethered. Their comedy becomes untethered. Whether or not it's a partner or a friend that tells you no.
Yeah.
You need to face it. That's just a part of what it is to be human, that messiness. Like when no one says no to you, like it never winds up good for the person either.
I like to just scotch it just towards the middle a little bit.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like it's just a lot of no's.
I mean, you know that yes. Lady Gaga.
Like, I want to just more be 50-50.
But you know that Lady Gaga had like, there was, when she was in college, there was actively a Facebook group that said, Stephanie Giammatta,
we hate her.
Yeah, you're never going to be famous.
Yeah, of course. And I get it. She's annoying. But like, as a person, I'm sure. As a star, we love that.
That's what
like,
it
we
requires.
want our stars to be.
Yes.
Not our best friend at brunch, who's like, we're eating an omelet and she's like, yeah! Like, no, shut the fuck up. We're trying to fucking drink this mimosa. You know what I mean? Like
this, you can't do this around this frittata. Don't do this around the quiche.
Yeah. No, natata on the frittata.
Not around the frittata. But I mean, like, I just...
Yeah.
I do understand that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I guess when like keeping that perspective absolutely keeps me grateful and like help me get up again. Like when you talk about this emotional being over it, it's like it's hard. For some losses are easier to take.
Sure.
And then there's
this depends on expectations you put on it.
And also you know, it also matters on like what else is happening, like how many times have you been knocked down recently?
Right.
Because, you know, it's hard to take these L's as anything but
L's.
Yeah. I mean, but also like there's some
we were talking about it this week.
Absolutely. And sometimes it's like you have to remember that it's not only just the industry, but it's hard to always remember that it's maybe not
a good thing.
Yeah, it's maybe not personal.
You have to kind of like process through it.
Right.
You have to be in that bad mood and be sad and be whatever and be around friends, whatever you do when you're sad, and like actually do the ritual of grief.
Yeah. Because
not grieving will like fuck it up.
Yeah, I mean, that is something that's sort of new for me in terms of handling disappointment. I love to just like package it away and, you know, never talk about it. And all of a sudden my storage space is full and nothing is able to be saved anymore because, you know, on your computer.
Yeah. And you have to be defragged.
Yeah. Like I need to. Yeah. But you're right. Like processing it and going through all of it, where you're like, it's in your heart and then it's in your stomach and then it's like this pettiness and then it becomes in your like,
you shit it out.
Yeah, and then you shit it out. Yeah. But then, because then after you shit it out, then you can intellectualize and understand that, like, oh, this is just, you know, the way that things are sometimes. Mm-hmm. Again, it is not an indictment, because the getting this far is usually sort of already such an insane thing.
And exactly, and we forget that this is, quote, far.
Yes.
Where we are.
Yeah.
We think we're still so short.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We think we're I'm thinking I'm in the parking lot, and maybe I'm actually in the lanai.
Right. The foyer.
Yeah, foyer. I know this.
Do you want to talk about your rejection or no? It seems like you're.
Oh yes,
more
no,
like
we can. So like,
vague about it.
yes,
Okay.
So for those of you who are listening, I have been on like almost like basically like check avail, which is like basically on call, one of 3 people for 2 movies in the last like 6 months.
Yeah.
And both times, maybe days before shooting is supposed to start, they have texted and been like, they're going a different way.
Right.
And, you know, when you talk about excitement and you talk about really like kind of like, you know, seeing it because you're future planning because, you know, the texts are, it's between you and another. It's between you and this. And the director,
you start stalking the other person.
Exactly. And then like,
who can it be?
And the director, like,
what can I do?
Yes. You're looking up the casting people, like what buttons can I push? Like who else is involved in this movie? Like, and it's just really going, you know, and you're looking up rates and how big the budget is, what you're going to get, what boat you're on to get. You're looking at
which sweater on Nordstrom.com I'm going to review.
You know, you're just like really, you're spending the money, you're spending the days, like you're just really spinning out and because I love that kind of daydream, you know, that sort of excitement of it all. Like, you know, so when you're doing that and then like packing, I'm putting together my luggage, you know, like I have to leave.
Right.
And getting the text and just being like, they went another way. And like, so
that hurts.
It hurts, right? And you know, it's your agents.
That's happened to me not in movies recently, but twice in 6 months too. But on like huge commercial campaigns.
That sucks.
Huge.
That sucks.
Because that pays.
That pays more.
The movie, indie movie. Get the
no, that pays more.
I mean,
big check.
I'm talking about 6 figures.
Life-changing amount of money.
I don't know about life-changing, but yes, yeah.
a year changing.
I live in LA. I live in LA.
Like a couple months.
Yeah. I'm going to Nobu.
Yeah. You're gonna buy a sweater from Nordstrom.com too. You know.
Yes, I am, and I will review it 5 stars because I'm feeling good about myself. Because feeling pussy, feeling cunt. No, but 100K will, you know, change the way I act.
Of course.
But.
I'm not gonna be way more obnoxious. Yeah.
Yeah. I won't be tipping.
I will be insufferable. Yes. But like it
but
is,
anyway, yeah, I feel you. It is that thing of future tripping, and then you're like, and then you get the call, and they're like, oh, we'll get the next one, team. You know that.
It's so
thing,
incredible
like,
that you got this far, and it's like the close, but no cigar. And I need the cigar.
You think it's? I think you. It's yes. You're Monica Lewinsky.
I need the cigar.
Yeah.
I want a stogie. Puff puff, please.
A humidor. It sucks. And so much of that is because we are future tripping.
Yes.
And we're not being present.
Yes. Absolutely.
Because we built this life that's better than ours. And then we have to now grieve it.
And the thing is, I do this with everything. Like, you know, I do this with the reason why I don't host parties as much anymore, even though I do try to, but I've tried to do it differently now, but I still wind up in this hole. It used to be much worse. So one of the most notorious examples of this is I used to try to have a 4th of July party every year, and every year no one would come. And each year I would hype it up in my mind, like this year
it's a tough one. It's July 4th.
Yes, yeah. But each time I tried for 4 years
in a row
where no one would come.
Whoa.
And so,
now, okay, let me ask you, first of all, before you continue, when are you sending out the invites?
I'm you know, like whatever, normal period, like
enough time, sure.
Like, but this is also when we're in our, you know, late 20s, right? This is a different period in our life. So this is like right at the beginning of my relationship, and we're all like kind of young adults. Absolutely. Okay. So I'm giving like 2-3 weeks normal,
Okay,
like nothing
fair.
crazy. But again, it's July 4th. It's a hot day for barbecues and party hopping.
And it's summertime.
Yes.
People leave for the summer.
Absolutely. So
okay, so
I'm
you're
trying.
doing everything right.
And so I would, prepare. And each year that no one would come, the next year I would be like, I'm going to make it a bigger deal. I'm going to invite more people and it's going to work out. And each year it didn't. And the final year I did it. I invited like 50 people. And I spent days preparing. Like, I'm talking salads that were pickled, different sort of mayo salads, all different kinds of salads, like 7 different kinds of salads. I was infusing a watermelon. I had several fruit infused vodkas, because this was like this era where infusions were huge, remember?
Yeah.
And nobody came. And then we're just sitting there at 5 o'clock, just surrounded by these huge batches of salad.
Wow.
And Max just looks at me and goes, look at this, Kim. More salads than people. That is
Why didn't anyone come?
it's the same thing as like whatever. I mean, like I think I'm always so no worries if not about it.
Oh, that's why. You didn't ask for an RSVP.
Yes.
You said, I'm chill.
I'm chill.
But you're not.
No.
Clearly, by evidenced by the 11 different salads. And the infused cantaloupe or whatever the fuck melon you were doing.
I mean, I did it with basil. I did it with
So you lie. Okay,
Yes.
so you told everyone, stop by if you want. Whatevs. And then
Whatevs.
people were like, oh, we don't have to go. She's not making any food. What would she have over
There's going to be so many people there. If you don't want to go, we don't have to go.
Yeah. It's not like she has any salad. Like, there's not. Let's stay here. There's a salad here.
And the thing is,
We're at Jeff's.
And the thing is, if 6 people had arrived, they would have had a salad each, an entire batch each.
Wow.
Like, I mean, it really was. There's something about this sort of like future tripping, as you describe it, like about, like, that's why my husband would say that I was addicted to this sort of disappointment, because there is, even if it did pan out, there's no way that reality would match up to the version
to
of
what you had expected. Wow.
So there's no way that the future can ever meet what I was thinking. So there's part of me that's like always seeking to be disappointed.
Sure. Yeah. You're self-sabotaging.
I guess, like, even the fact that if I got, and the thing is, I know this. Like, we both know this. And you can't, there's something about, I don't know.
My future tripping is more like in my head. Like, I don't make the salad. I like think of the people.
If you make it, they will come.
I go, ooh, yes, it's going to be so fierce. So many different mayo options. Yeah, it's going to be so big. Everyone's going to love me. And they're going to be like, let's give him $100 bill each. Like, that's how I future trip. Like, I don't actually make the thing because I'm not that delusional, I guess. Like, I think we're on different levels of hell right now.
Exactly.
Like, you're on the ninth circle.
Yeah.
I'm still on number 4.
Okay, well, make it down. Take the elevator down.
Wait for me.
I'm holding the door.
Yeah. Bing. Severance. You're not watching Severance, are you?
No, but I do. I've watched enough of it on TikTok where I'm like, I think I'm ready.
Okay. Well, if you do watch it, let me know because I need to talk about it. And for you guys, if you guys are Severance fans, hit me up because I got a lot of fucking theories.
Are you a theory person?
I'm a theory person. I'm a theory person with everything I watch.
Okay.
Like Marvel, anything like sci-fi, geeky, nerdy. Like,
yes.
I want to go to the YouTubes. I want to know what you're thinking, what you possibly think. Here's the craziest thing. Last night, after I watched Severance episode 9, there were so many. It's kind of like Lost, where like they answer things, but they open a new thing.
Yes.
And answer open a new thing. Blah blah blah. And I was like so electrified that like my partner, he was like, let's go to sleep. And I was like, I can't go to sleep yet. And he's like, what are you doing? He's like, stop watching YouTube. I'm like, all right, fine. So I get into bed and I go on ChatGPT on my phone and I say, act like a conspiracy theorist on YouTube about the show Severance. And I start talking to it about I was like, what do you think the goat meant in episode 7 of this? And he was like, well, the goat could represent this. And I was like, ah!
Okay, Peter. Ding, you are at my level of hell. Okay, you've
I made it down.
the elevator.
And those of you
plummeted.
Severance people understand that the elevator only goes down in the dark hallway. So get at me, folks. Thank you so much for listening. We'll talk to you on the next one.
Bye.
Bye.